All right. So my name is Roman Mark. Hello. So we're all in school, so we've all worked in group projects before. They're pretty fun when you get to choose people you want, choose your friends and stuff. But it's a real dice roll when it's randomly chosen. And that's something that happens when you go and work. So how many of you have worked a job before in specifically food service? That's where I work. Only two? Oh yeah, well, you just talked about it, and so that's where I work. I work in a grocery store with a bunch of people. And you have to work in this group of people, and they're all way older than me. I think the youngest person there, I'm 19, the youngest person there besides me is 25. And so you have to work with people you've never really met. You got to get to know them at least a little bit just so you can work together. And it's hard to work in a place like that when you argue a lot. And some of the people I know argue a ton in this spot. All right, so I'll tell you a story, the dangers of the arguing when you have to work together. First is the Aesop's fable, the three bulls and the lion, or the lion and three bulls, lion and three bulls. And then I'll tell you a story of my own personal experience. So we'll start with the Aesop fable. So the lion and the three bulls is a story about three bulls and a lion. And the three bulls would stick together in a field and they'd graze together, and the lion couldn't fight them. And these aren't cows, these are buffalo, so they're weighing of like 1,500 pounds just by themselves. So you can't fight three of them. But the lion or the bulls had an argument, and the details of the argument aren't really said in the places I tried to find it. So they argued about something, and they separated and went to three different sides of the field. And the lion was able to take each of them out separately because they weren't together anymore. So you can't fight them by yourself. So it's important to stick together, even with arguments, when they know the lion was there. And that's just the Aesop fable. Now, mine doesn't involve anyone dying, but you know, they get involved getting in trouble with the owner of the store, and she's scary. So now I work at a place called Lowe's Foods over by the movie theater. Have any of you been there before? Yeah, I work in the chicken kitchen. Do you know where that is? I don't know. I get it. It's not a great place. But I work right next to the deli, and the deli has usually upwards of 4 to 5 people in there at once. And I work alone, so I'm not really talking to many people. But the deli does. And during earlier, when I started working there, a couple months before, I've only worked there during COVID, so I don't know how else it was. But these two people got into an argument outside of work. I had no idea the details of it, didn't know what was going on. I didn't really care. So I was just there to get money. But they would refuse to talk to each other at all. And it's super important that we talk to each other in that job because we got to ask for help, doing orders or making trays and stuff. And this area that we're in is about the size of this classroom with a bunch of different cutting boards and stuff. I mean, it's a small area. And these two people would just never talk to each other. They'd always mumble under their breath, like passive aggressive stuff towards each other. Always, talk bad right next to each other in this room, this size of the room, not even this long. It's about to that desk. That's how big this place is, and it's small. So these three people, or these two people, just argued constantly, or just refused to talk to each other, and it was annoying. It was whatever, but it all came to a head eventually. I don't know why. Again, I don't work like right next to them. I work out like far away. But they started yelling at each other, started screaming about stuff, and we do something there where we have mystery shoppers, where these people are paid by the store to come in and like test us on how we like treat customers. He walks up the counter and sees these two people yelling, cussing, screaming at each other, and he's just like immediately goes right to the manager of the store. And so the owner of the store, comes running over, not running, she's walking, but she comes walking over and I see her coming over towards the argument, and I think, oh great, we're gonna get in trouble. We're gonna get in a lot of trouble for this. So she comes over there, she starts telling them off about stuff, telling them how bad they are, you can't do this, you can't do that. But she still wants to know what's this all about. So she calls everyone back to the office one by one just to talk to them. And I thought I wasn't going to because I mean I wasn't a part of it. But she does call me back there, and she starts talking to me. She says, this is your first job. I know how this is, crazy, but I just want to warn you about this because you're going to work with people you might not exactly like, but you need to work together at least a little bit well enough that you get your job done. And if you want to talk bad about each other outside of work, I don't care what you do, but you need to at least be together for each other here. And that was a pretty big, a big lesson because I mean, it was my first job. Didn't see that coming, but yeah. So I mean, it's the same kind of story in the end. Like you can't just keep fighting with each other because you're gonna get something's gonna happen to you. You might not get killed by a lion, but you're gonna get in a lot of trouble with, either your teacher if you're at school or your boss if you're at work. So just stick together, even if you don't exactly like each other. Just fight outside of work or outside of school if you're going to, but keep it outside of work. Thank you.